Okay, I just made a video and there was a jump cut right at the end when I was talking about hypersonic technology. This you guys need to understand something. Okay, Obama was a secret operative for Iran, Russia, and China. He got to the presidency. Okay, if Russia and China, or if Russia was meddling with elections in 2016, and we hear all these reports of Russia meddling in elections, they were doing it in '08 and before that. And so here's what I was talking about when the previous video that I just uploaded jump cut. I was talking about hypersonic technology was developed by um, NASA. Okay, then Edward Snowden took his briefcase full of hard drives to Russia and China, full of that technology, full of stolen secrets. Then, as soon as they had that technology, Obama cuts funding. So the same thing happened with the laser technology. The technology to shoot down aircraft using a laser was under development and was top secret, being developed by DARPA and and other defense contractors. Snowden gets in there, steals the technology, delivers that technology to Russia and China, and then Obama cuts funding. That's the type of hidden politics that nobody reports on. The United States government, CIA, they know what I'm saying is true. And if you look at when Snowden defected, right around that time is also when Russia became more belligerent in Syria and started sending flights over down up and down the United States coast, west coast and east coast of the United States. And this is politics that nobody talks about, that nobody is supposed to know about, but is revealed by the Holy Spirit. And I'm telling you, this computer, every once in a while, it does a jump, and it all of a sudden a bunch of stuff I said is missing. But here's the thing: there's crazy stuff going on in politics right now that nobody know that's being kept secret by top people. Okay, like Ilhan Omar. What's with that? How is she even in our government? How is she even part? How can she even be permitted to be part of our government? Well, Obama was worse because he was a way higher level, and he shared all the same views as Rashida Tlaib. Anyway, so in order to compensate for that kind of crazy politics, where with Obama working with Russia, and then after Edward Snowden leaks all this top secret information, then Obama cuts the funding. That's okay. So the reason that the United States is behind on hypersonic technology, that's why we developed that technology. NASA developed that technology. Then Edward Snowden leaked the top secret information to Russia and China in 2011. And then, as soon as that technology is leaked, Obama cuts funding. And the same thing happened with the laser technology. As soon as Edward Snowden had leaked all that information to China, now they're developing it, and then Obama cuts the funding. And so, politics right now is a I mean, you gotta discern from the Lord what's really going on. And if you believe what the news is saying, and the Lord showed me that Donald Trump has had secret meetings with Nancy Pelosi, and they've discussed the strategy on how to buy more time and how to make it look like we're like like the United States is We're about to get rid of Trump. We're about to have him impeached. Hold on, Russia and China. Don't launch the nukes yet. We're trying to get Trump out of office. And then until we had just enough time to get our hypersonic nuclear technology up to speed and increase our nuclear deterrence, then now, oh, now we can become more belligerent. Then China, now we're fighting in the South China Sea. There's been nukes that have been detonated in the South China Sea. One nuke at least. And that was in 2019. That was in November, around November 21st, 2019. There was a nuclear submarine, a U.S. nuclear submarine sunk, and it was a nuclear explosion that sunk it. And remember the Russian sub, the whole controversy about the Russian sub and how Russia said that they had like 14 top commanders who died on this Russian submarine, and there was reports that the Russian submarine was in U.S. waters. But the original report was that the first report when it first came out was that there was a U.S. nuclear submarine was sunk and a Russian nuclear submarine caught on fire. But we don't really know the real truth. But I think that's closer to the truth. Then the story changed. The part of the story about a U.S. sub being sunk was eliminated, and then all we knew is something about a Russian sub having a fire. The whole story about, in other words, the story changed. The original story was there was a firefight between a U.S. sub and a Russian submarine all in U.S. territorial waters, and the U.S. sub was sunk, and the Russian submarine caught on fire, and there was a second Russian submarine that was the mothership submarine, and then the story changed, and they eliminated the part about the U.S. sub being sunk. And that was back in 2019. So yeah, and the Lord has been telling me that we actually we were closer to war in 2017 and 18 than we are now. Like, uh, I don't know. And the Lord told me that Donald Trump can go ahead and slap that dragon around. That Donald Trump right now can slap China and beat him up a little bit. That's what the Lord told me. Because some sort of nuclear deterrent has been increased on our side. The balance of power has been brought back into balance. For a while, Russia had hypersonic nukes, and there was the balance of power was out of balance. But Donald Trump, through all the crazy, I want to say chicanery, political chicanery, um, we've been able to buy more time, which has given us enough time to build up our nuclear deterrent and bring the balance of power back into balance. And that's why that's why there's almost a war in the South China Sea. And that's one reason China released the coronavirus, is they're the ones who are hurting.